Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going into round 3 of creating this track. And it's really nice actually recording myself doing this process because it's kind of forcing me to come to creative decisions after I've finished the production and also planning for the future of what we're going to do in these lessons. So we are going to work on 3 things for this session. We're going to work on the introduction. We're going to work on this simmer, this break leading up to a final drop, and we're going to try and fill out this middle part here with more of those basses that we created. So I have this idea that for the intro and the break, we're going to have similar sounds going on there, and the main sound that's going to carry through all of that is going to be this one here. So this was a little sequence that I created. And I changed a couple of notes of it in the beginning of last session. And you can see that it's just got some velocity changes. And it's only 4 notes. Well, 1, 2, 3, and 4 with the octave of E there as well. So it's very, very basic. And I've just found a preset that I've chucked on there, and I've tweaked the filter envelope and everything and I've also put an envelope on the noise there to get the kind of tone that I'm after. I also put a drum bus on there and gate lab this is changing the volume as well of some of the hits, and it's kind of where I want it. It's pretty nice. And we're going to have this sound evolve through this part of the song, ready for that final drop. And I'm just deciding whether or not I put it on the introduction here as well. So we're going to listen to our reference track and see what they have done. So very minimal. We can hear a filtered kick there. There's the bass that's filtered as well. Cool, so we're going to put our sub here also. And it should be filtered already. If not, let's just have a look. So we're going to cut out here. And okay, great. So it is filtered. We're filtering the kick and the bass on this group here by just cutting out the low cutoff point and bringing it up to 160. So yeah, so we have some atmospheric sounds. So we're probably going to get a pad and some kind of twinkly thing that's going to suit the vibe of our song. The reference track is obviously a bit more lighthearted and a bit more like euphoric, and ours is a bit more mystical and exotic. You could say. So we'll find some sounds to consolidate our ideas as well. And so let's just continue listening through this introduction. Okay, cool. So it actually sounds like it sounds like the tops are filtered here as well. I'm hearing when we get to this point that you can hear the hi-hat on the kick more, whereas here you won't. So that means that he's done a light filtering on the top as well, and we are also going to do that. So we're just going to bring this down here. Okay, fantastic. So I've put this little locator in called milk because this is where everything is dropped. It's nothing. So we're milking the anticipation. We want to milk that and have as minimal as possible. So when that drop kicks in, it's powerful and it's full, okay? Okay, so we're actually not going to use this beginning part. Oh, we might actually. We're not going to use it as the whole sequence. We're probably going to reduce this into some kind of more simple idea. Because this is going to be busy and really nice for this, and we're going to have another layer on the top. But I think what we're going to do for now is we're going to find an atmospheric pad to sit underneath this, and then we can adjust these notes afterwards once we've decided on the kind of pad that we want that's providing the correct atmosphere, okay? And I'm probably just gonna fling around Diva on this because I bought a bunch of sound packs, and we should be able to get something pretty quick, okay? So remember last lesson I was talking about, it's up to you to build a library that's beneficial to your productions. And I know that Lofstrom are great. I know that these circle ones are great, but probably highly overused, so we're not going to use them. And I also have the unfinished, which are a whole bunch of presets as well. And the thing is, I like to get packs that not many people are using because then it's gonna sound fresh, you know, in your production. If imagine how many people have used these circle ones, you know, from PML Production Music Live, which are amazing and they're great sounds, but it means that a lot of the songs are going to be sounding the same, and we want to be unique, or I want to encourage to be unique at the least. We know that this is going to be. Sometimes I actually use the fifth. So E, F, G, A, B. We could use a B note instead of an E. And that's a little technique just to add a little bit more tension. It's going to be a little bit more tense than using the E note. And you know, we can also go to the E afterwards. But this is a nice little technique. And so let's just find the right octave and texture or sound for this pad. I'm not sure if there's going to be any pads on here. Okay, we're going to move into these Lofstrom ones because I think there might be some pads here. This is actually a really nice sound, and we're not going to have this as a pad, but we are going to have some kind of bouncing idea. This is the little twinkly part. Oh, we've just got to... I thought I turned the ARP off, but for some reason it's still bouncing around these different notes, and we just need to find out. I thought just turning ARP off would stop that. Voice map. So we're just trying to turn this into a single note instead of having it picking the notes for us. That might be from VCE map. Okay, fantastic. So I don't know what this is, but that was changing the pitch, and we do not want that. We're gonna chuck an E on there. Oh, actually this one too. This could be nice. It's still picking the notes. Okay, what we're gonna do is just have this simple. So we're going to have this cutoff building for more intensity. This is going to go for this duration. We're going to remove these high notes. Okay, cool. So we have these two layers. We have one just riffing on this E note with that little D sharp in there for some spice, and you know, this one's going to be building on the fifth. By fifth, I mean the fifth note of the E scale. Oh, that's right, the milk. So we wanna keep that empty, and yeah, there's still, so this is a little drone pluck, we could call it. This is some kind of ostinato, we could call it. And we still want a pad underneath this. We were searching for it and ended up finding a sound that was going to work really well in our tune anyway. So let's continue with, I would still like this to be on a B note, I think. We'll at least explore and see how that sounds. Legato, cool, and now let's try and find a pad on Diva again. So Lofdrum 9. Okay, there's some nice pad options here. This sounds great. I would love to hear it lower. Yep, this is nice. This is going to be able to add the tension that we want here. Okay, beautiful. So that's quite nice, actually. I'm just thinking we want to make it a little bit more harmonically complex. So maybe add some extra notes within that supporting drone and do some other stuff with this. I think could be nice. Let's just check out this. Cool, so I'm just filtering in the hi-hats and the clap for this part. We're also going to reduce this. The reverb from the tail of this might be good enough to carry across this milk bar. Perfect. So the reverb and the tail of this is going to be enough. You can see it's got a really long release, which means when we let go of the note, it's going to continue for some time afterwards. Okay, so that's cool. That's really nice. We're going to dive into this a bit more and add some extra flavors. There was just this like oof at the end, and I think it might be this. We're actually there's a little, it sounds a bit dead when this kick and the sub just kind of fully drop out, and we're just going to put a reverb percussion sound here to fill that in a bit more. Okay, cool. So we're going to add some more textural kind of things in that as well. I'm not fully finished with this intro though. Yeah, so first of all, this pluck needs to be filtered in more. I don't like that it's just straight there off the bat. It should creep in slowly. I'm just feeling that I want some more white noise underneath this. So I literally, this is how I've been doing white noise since I began producing many years ago. And I'm still doing it the same. Well, slight variations. We'll put some cool effects on this and introduce some other kind of layer to make it a bit more unique. But essentially I bandpass white noise and chuck the spread on 100, and that's it basically. But I'm very happy with how this is going. Because it's white noise, it doesn't matter what note you choose, it's all going to be the same stuff. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's getting really nice now. And I actually want to just boost these little guys up a little bit, get a little bit more variation. Okay, interesting. I don't know what is going on. Sounded like the pitch was changing there. And it definitely should not be. But it might just be this filtering. Okay, cool. We're just gonna move on and sort that out later. Okay, cool. So I want to introduce these two sounds a little bit. This is this purpley color is kind of like our musical stuff, is what it's looking like. And I made note of these, that I wanted these two sounds in here at some point. So we're going to find some little small articulations just to support these other sounds that we've created. This is going to be a great time to do a really nice long sweep. Something like this with those notes that we've been using, but across like, yeah, let's see what this is going to be like. How bizarre. How strange. It is strumming. How unexpected. I don't know what note that's coming from. Well, that's just super weird. As cool as that sounds, that's not what I want. It's just decided to randomly start strumming, which is super bizarre. Like, just give me the clean. Okay, cool. So we've got this is sounding really nice. And there's one thing I wanted to do just for this intro. We probably won't have this texture on the guitar for the rest of the song, but I think for the intro it will be really nice. And so we're going to duplicate this, and we are going to put Portal on there, which is a technique that I use quite often when I just want to have a I want to have a unique layer over the top of the guitar. Well, any sound really, just to give some more dimension to it. Okay, so this is highly delayed, and it's probably on 100%, which is why it's cutting out. Okay, so that is just the layer, but with both of the, or we might actually want it on 100%, the Portal. This is with both of the layers playing, with that new one we just introduced. Okay, cool. So let's bring down the volume of that effect, but it's really nice. we're gonna chuck this guy in here as well. Okay, I just want to get the timing right of this. It's like 1, 2, boom, 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 boom. Okay, that is correct. And we're on. So I'm pretty stoked with that. I think it's quite nice. I don't want to over complicate this because one of the main reasons is we have to mix this in, I think, and because I was touching base on this in one of my lessons. Sometimes you actually don't want to do this. Like I'm doing some quite colorful harmonic runs and things, and imagine you have to look into the future, like how the fuck am I going to mix this in, So you really do need to think, how would I actually mix this in? And I guess, like, sure, I wouldn't mix all at one time. I would probably find a loop where there's not much going on, like where it's just this. I tell you what, we might even delete this. because that could be a good loop point in the beginning, you know? So so you see what I've done here? I've actually removed the guitar because this is just going to be easier to mix in the future, you know, and I'm happy to sacrifice having all this in the beginning because I can pick a nice loop point here. It's going to be super, super easy for me to loop and mix into another song rather than have some of these other notes that might be out of key compared to the song that I'm mixing into. So, you know, that's a great thing to keep in mind, and I've talked about loop points before. So I'm thinking that there's going to be some cool loop points in here, and also this is a great point to loop in too. Because it's literally just a kick, a bass, and a clap. So, you know, that's great. Oh, we just want to fill out this milk point. It's what we're going to call it, just with some more effects because this intro is sounding great and I just want a couple more like psychedelic effects in there, which is really going to make this shine. And I know that there's a sound that I want maybe coming from this point. Let me just hear the reference. Okay, cool. So we can have some... We could smash a ride cymbal in there for sure. Even some more little drum sounds around this beginning part could be quite nice as well. And we'll get into that. Okay, I don't like either of those. I don't like any of them either. Okay, so this one's quite nice and crispy. We're going to have a fat reverb on this, and then we're going to sidechain it. Actually, we have a sidechain reverb here. Okay, so sidechain reverb. I think I've touched on this, but essentially I have a reverb with a really long tail on it. Let's say 5 seconds at 100%, because it's a send, right? So we can use these to increase the amount of these effects that we want. And then I have a sidechain after it. So it's going to be pumping, you know? And this should come after. I want to EQ my reverb, so I'm not wasting my time with low frequencies or high frequencies that I don't need. Let's crank this actually. I want it to pump more. sometimes instead of reducing or multiband compressing, I just put tape saturation, which essentially, if something's punching over the top of like a roof, or there are resonant peaks, the tape saturation actually acts as a compressor and reduces some of those peaks. So let's actually see if this does anything. So we're peaking at 10.9. We'll turn this on clean tape at around 25% and see if that is reduced. And yes, it is. So this saved us, so 10.9 to 14.1 is pretty much giving us like 3 dB extra. And, you know, we're still going to crank it. It's just reducing some of the peaks. Nice. We're just going to add a little bit more variation to here. Cool. So we fleshed out this intro, which I'm really happy with. And the reason why is because we can just recycle all of that stuff and chuck it in this break bit, you know, which we can probably do now, to be honest. So we're just going to take this, we're going to copy it over to our simmer. And the thing is, this is the Atmos build in this track, and let's just see if we can actually move that pad there as well. So at this point, this is the motif that's bo-dum bum, and it's obviously going to carry through to this simmer part. So it's like I was describing in my one of my arrangement tutorials before. Sometimes when we want a part here, we actually introduce it earlier in the song as a transitional point going into that section. Okay, so essentially he would want this part to be dominant here, the do-dum bum, but he's introduced it earlier so we can transition into it and it sounds a lot smoother. Okay, so that's really nice, and I just wanted to comment on how good it is to have a nice reference track. Like, this is a really great track, and I'm still learning stuff all the time when I produce, It's hard to really know everything, but I think when you're using this approach, you can really see some of especially when you're beginning, you can see everything. Well, as long as you can hear what's going on in the track. Like, I think I can hear a lot of stuff that's going on and a lot of the subtleties, and that your ears will grow with time to hear all of this stuff and all the changes. And I obviously didn't start out this way. This is just a point that you get to when you pursue this for a long time and put a lot of energy into it. You're building your ears to hear all these subtle changes in design and structure and arrangement and layers and texture. And, as soon as you can really focus and hear all of that stuff, then you can recreate it in your own interpretation like this. And you can hear that we have an extremely different song. And we're just taking structural arrangement from our reference track and mostly arrangement and structural ideas. I've written down melodic motif, which could mean anything. That could be any melodic idea. We're writing in a completely different key, but we're still using all of these to help build our song. And look at all of our little locators that we have now. And this is only our third session, and we're actually coming up to we're close to 50% done. Once I rearrange some of this intro stuff into that build, which is what I'm going to do now, then all that's left is filling in the drop with more basses and then filling out the final drop and then breaking it down. And that's a whole track. And I don't usually write this fast. I think it's because I'm capturing myself in the moment, and it's kind of forcing me to be creative and really get shit done in a small amount of time. I could quite easily dick around and do nothing, but because I am recording this for an educational purpose, it's kind of really making me not be creative, but make the most of my time. So, I'm probably going to continue doing a lot of these series, making a bunch of different tracks, because it's actually making me more productive as a producer as well. And I really enjoy sharing all this information with you too. We've got the coffee this morning. I just need a bit more sugar, and then we're good to go. We're going to keep on going. Let's see what time we're up to. So we're on 57. We're going to finish this break here, and it shouldn't take us long, to be honest. If we can get that done, then literally we might only need 2 more sessions and to finish this song. And we're probably going to go into, I'll show you my mastering chain, and we'll tidy up this whole track and have it fully complete in, what's that? Let's say it was an hour and a half each for 4 sessions, then that would be 6 hours. If I can finish a song like this to this caliber in 6 hours, that would be a record for me. Usually it's 30, because I'm taking my time and doing things, as I go. But I would love to be able to show you that this is possible, to create a tune that is released on a quality label and have recorded all of it and done it in 6 hours. That is a colossal feat for me anyway, as a producer. So I'm going to try and make that happen for you guys and for myself. Okay, cool. So we have operator. This is our white noise, and we obviously want this be for the final drop, because this is where we're building tension. White noise. And you can see we're only up to 45 layers. which is pretty minimal for this. Like, mind you, we're going to add probably like another 40 more when we really dive into these parts with more sound effects and basses. So it probably will turn out to be about 80. But, you know, if we're just make sure, like, always recycle your sounds. You can use one sound and turn it into 100 other different things. And then you're saving yourself a lot of CPU space if you're, you know, especially if you're using audio. We might smash these into audio at some point, but that is all good for now. So, okay, we went on a little tangent there. We're doing the break. Let's have a listen to our reference track. Okay, cool. So we're gonna carry on this sound through this as well, and probably put a different delay so we can get a similar effect to what's happening in the track. But we're obviously going to select the notes that are going to reflect the tone of this music and this song a bit more. Okay. Okay, so let's just have a listen and see when that reverb pluck kicks in. Okay, cool. So he's got these nice like fluttery kind of things coming through there. We're going to create a little rhythm with this that's different from this one. And we're going to actually put a different delay on it, I think. Actually, I tell you what, we might introduce it from here. We'll see. That could be a good idea, so it's not just blasting out of nowhere. Cool. So we want to have some more. We want to have some more atmospheric stuff around here. We might even remove this so to provide a bit more space, and then create some different atmospheric kind of stuff. Yeah. Atmos 2. Yep, so we'll find some other new atmospheric sound here that could be good. Actually, let's just have a look in my sample packs and see if we can find something. Okay, Foley atmospheres. Not quite what we're looking for. But there are a lot of these. We want an Atmos in E. Maybe some industrial techno could be cool. Yeah, sounds good to me. And so, you know, we want to make this different. I always feel bad just taking just flat out samples and slapping them into my music. So we're going to put on this infiltrator, which is a crazy multi-effects. And we're going to go for some kind of enhancement or change in tone. I like this embellish hats. Okay, dope. So let's get vital. We're just gonna we need some more support sounds here that are going to increase the perception of the build, okay? So we want vital. We're gonna go into the Glorkies. It's pretty much I use this technique exclusively for this kind of sound because they're so crazy, these sound waves. We can just sweep through the wavetable and we will find a great sound, and we're also going to pitch it up as well. I just need to decide where I'm starting it from, here or earlier. Okay, so definitely here. And we might even pitch a couple of sounds. We might pitch this one here. Let's actually see what that'll sound like. It could be terrible. But let's just suss it out. So we're going on to Serum. Maybe we can go up a fifth. So that would mean that we go here. We go on to envelopes and Serum. Okay, MIDI, pitch, bend upwards. So this will be bending up a perfect fifth across this amount of time. Okay, so I don't like it. Not the sound to be pitching, but this one could definitely work. Can definitely pitch this one. It just depends on how far we actually pitch it, you know? So, I forgot where the bend is. Okay, let's go up. Let's go up a third. So a slight bend over time, which might be just what we need. And so if I went through that too fast, I just decided that that ostinato sound sounded terrible. So I clicked onto a different track, which is this drone pluck, and we're going to try pitching this up instead. Yeah, this was pretty cool. I think we can actually pitch this higher because it was kind of so slow, and I was like, oh, please get to the actual note, you know. And all right, let's see what it looks like. Oh God. Okay, so yeah, I'm happy with that pitching up. It's gonna go to the B, which is great. We're also going to have this pitch up by the same increment. It's going to be going up to a perfect fifth, which would be 7. Okay. So for those who don't know what this is musically, if you're bending to a note, you're bending down to a note. It would be very beneficial to bend to a note that's actually in your scale. And if you're bending upwards or down, an octave would be great because that is the strongest interval within music harmonically. And that would be 12 semitones up or 12 semitones down. Or you could also bend up to a perfect fifth, which would be 7 semitones, which is the second most strong interval harmonically. And that would be 7 semitones up. You could also bend down to the fifth by going down 5 semitones, okay? So these are both really good things to know because they're probably where you're going to pitch to. You're probably not going to be going to any other note because it won't be worth it. Okay, so I'm just deciding, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get this sidechain reverb and we're just going to put it onto this here. And the reason that I've done this in this channel instead of on the send is because I want the filtering to occur after the sidechain. So let's go. So okay, no, we don't want you there. But yeah, this is kind of cool. Okay, so basically I'm just trying to make this sound wider. I was actually going to pan it from left to right. I just panned 2 oscillators, and this might be better for some kind of spectral idea. I'm pretty happy with that, and yeah, you know, we're not finished with this break yet. We're building the energy still. We're still building the energy. We have an ostinato, which is cool and coming in, but the spot where we haven't fully figured out yet is from this, like, this bit to the simmer. Oh, that's right. So there was a melodic motive there. So this would be a great time for us to use one of our melodic elements, and it's probably going to be this one, to be honest. I think this might work the best. So the new motive is going to come in through. We're going to create a new sound. Oh, okay, it is meant to filter. Let's have a listen here. Oh, I've actually got it in the wrong spot. Yeah, that motive was the bass, like, but we wanna we wanna add something here, I'm pretty sure. Cool. Okay, let's go here. Yeah, this will just have to do for the moment. I am not feeling particularly inspired by this, but that's okay. As long as we have something and giving myself the opportunity, then we can change it later. All right, so let's listen from here. Yep, we're not writing from beginning straight through because that never occurs to me. I kind of go with the flow. So we worked on this middle chunk. We got a groove. We've worked on the intro. We have the break done. And I think I've gone great. This will obviously smoothen out, and depending on how I feel, what ideas come to mind, I'm happy to change any aspect or delete any aspect also. So yeah, we'll see how we go. But as long as we get this stuff done, I'll be very happy with the progress that we've made. And it'll all come together when I start building and designing heaps more basses and getting a lot more like cooler phrasing going on in the song. So a real obvious one. If I ever say simmer, it's usually because of white noise going down pitch, like. Oh wow, what's going on here? Okay, so I like the white noise, with that. But the problem is this infiltrator is just killing the sound. Like it's not allowing it to sizzle downwards. Maybe it will, actually. Let's try putting an auto filter on the end of it, and so that might work, but it sounds like it probably won't. 12. Okay, and whoop. Let's see. Oh, I put it on the wrong one. Okay, no, I don't like it. We are going to stick with my original idea. Okay, cool. So I am pretty happy with leaving this session at that. I've fleshed out a lot of the intro and the break. This is obviously could be better. It feels like it could really benefit from having some layers that are going to help push the energy a bit higher, and it needs some more texture and some other things. But yeah, it was a good session. I'm stoked with that. And for the next two sessions, we're probably going to focus, we'll probably have one session doing this, depending on how fast that takes me. And then we have the whole final drop to do. And then that is the track done. So see you next lesson.